Welcome to Jets Rewind, and this is Marty Shupak. I'm joined by Ralph Sharega, who's in Belmont, Mass, and Ray Clifford, who is doing remote out in, I guess, in Boise, Idaho. Is that right?
I am.
Yeah, he's in Boise, Idaho, and we're recording this on Saturday, May 1st, 7 o'clock, about a half hour after the last day of the draft. I'm just going to go through the quicks very quickly. Then I want each of you's reaction.
Ray's looking for more cornerbacks in Idaho.
Cornerbacks and safeties can never have enough.
Of course, round one we got Zach Wilson. Round one we got.
Oh, wait a minute, let me write that one down. I didn't realize
Alijah
that.
Vera-Tucker. Round two, Elijah Moore, wide receiver, Ole Miss. Round four, is this right? Round four.
Round four. Yeah.
Michael Carter, North Carolina. Round five, Jamien Sherwood, who they list as a linebacker. He was actually a safety at Auburn. They're going to convert him. Round five, with the 154th pick, Michael Carter, number 2, cornerback at Duke. He was a team captain. They love team captains. Round number 5, pick number 175, Jason Pinnock, a quarterback from Pittsburgh. And coincidentally, he was in Windsor. He's from Windsor, Connecticut. He was there today. I was about 5 miles from where he was. It doesn't
Really?
Pick that I'm waiting to hear Marty pronounce the name of.
Well, this is it. Round 6 from safety from Florida State, Hamsah Nasirildeen. Nasirildeen.
By the way, they found drafted another one of those guys in the 7th round. I don't know if you realize that.
No, they did.
The second, yeah. Not the round, but the second.
Another safety, 6'3", 215. They're going to try to make him a linebacker. Round 6, with the 200th pick, Brandin Echols, a cornerback from Kentucky, who's very raw, but apparently very good athlete. And with the last pick, a defensive tackle, Arkansas, Jonathan Marshall, who played in a 3-4. He says he's perfect for the Jets defense. He thinks the Jets got the steal of the draft, according to Rich Cimini. So that's how it went. I have a few thoughts, but I'd like to turn it over first to Ray, because, Ralph, I felt the tension from Boise, Idaho, all the way in Connecticut where I was. I know Ray was getting upset as the draft went on. So, Ray, give us your thoughts.
Well, I like the first 3 picks. You know, first day, obviously Zach was, a gimme, so I wasn't, on edge on that one. I love that he traded up and got Vera-Tucker. That to me was a really good move. I was thrilled with that one, and I like Elijah Moore a lot. So I didn't have any problem with any of those picks. It was everything from there on that seemed to just, I'm not even saying the picks he had were bad. I just thought for some reason we think we got to fix our defensive backfield with a ton of picks, but one more lineman makes our offensive line complete somehow. And the one guy who they didn't pick and had so many chances that I really wanted, I think Ralph and I both said, I want to take a flyer on that Trey Smith out of Tennessee.
Did he get picked at all? Did anyone finally pick him?
And of all, Kansas City, like they needed a line. 6th round, and Kansas City's just going, nobody else wants him. We'll take a flyer.
I understand. Yeah, I understand the problem. He had the blood clot issue.
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago.
And
you take a flyer on him. They have so many picks. That drove me nuts too. One offensive lineman. The whole draft. That's a D right there.
So,
okay, Ray.
The first half of the draft, the first 3 rounds, I was real happy. But I just thought from that point on, we filled a bunch of holes, but with a bunch of guys that, as long as you're taking flyers on all these guys that, the same thing with the guy that the Nasirildeen there, Hamsah out of USC, he had a big ACL. So if you're going to take a flyer on him, why not take a flyer on the lineman?
Well, if you're going to take a flyer on Jamien Sherwood, who runs a 4.75 40, I'm not a 40 guy. I'm not obsessed with that, but that's extreme, especially in this inflated era where everyone's running 4.32. I'm so tired of that. I feel like you got to add 0.1 or 0.15 to all of these guys if it's not in the combine. I don't buy it at all. You watch their film and it's like, that guy's not a 4.3. No way.
Reminds me of Lavernius Coles when they said he was such a burner coming out of FSU.
Yeah, he was a great receiver, but he was not a burner.
First game, caught from behind.
Right, you're right. I want to hear Ralph's thoughts, but the one thing I'll say to you, Ray, I would have been perfectly fine with it if they could have squeezed in another offensive lineman.
That's all I want.
Somewhere like in the 4th or 5th round. I mean, I would even Michael Carter. I've been watching film of him for the last 2 hours. I love the guy right now.
The one out of Carolina?
Yeah.
Or the other one? Yeah.
Running back.
He could be good. I mean, I don't have a problem with him. I just, I'm going to be keeping an eye on Trey Smith for the next 5 years to see if he turns into a stud. I'm going to be really, really disappointed.
Right. And I don't know, Ralph. I don't know how you feel about how coaches and general managers, they're thinking where they could take a guy on one position and they're going to draft him to slot him in another position. I mean, how
that can work.
Right.
It doesn't always, but it has worked over the years at times. I hated that he traded out of the 4th round with that second
crazy,
pick.
Right?
I mean, you get some real good players in the 4th round. It's like, why is he doing that? He was the only one that was trading at a certain point. It was crazy. It was almost like he didn't have anyone he wanted to take. And there were players there.
Yeah. I thought we were going to trade up in that round.
I thought about that too. Take that. Take that early 5th and package it with the 4th and get really early in the 4th again. Yeah. Jabril Cox. I know he has injury issues, but man,
he's really good.
That's a guy that you take a shot on because he's a player.
He's a player. I really wanted him. I want to be fair to Joe Douglas, and I went back to the 18 draft, Sam Darnold, just to review that draft. Sam Darnold was the first pick, no number 2, Nathan Shepard 3, Chris Herndon 4, Parry Nicholson 6, there was no number 5, Fadakasi 6, and Trenton Cannon 6. So look, whatever you say about, and we don't know
that wasn't his draft. You have to be clear on that.
I'm not.
That was McCagnon's draft.
Oh, that's McCagnon's. But what I'm giving Douglas credit. Yeah, I'm just going to say you have to give Joe Douglas credit for trying to put weapons around Zach Wilson.
No question about it. He had it right at the beginning. And I like the Michael Carter number 1 pick a lot.
Yeah, I love that. That guy looks great.
He's not small. He's just short. He's like a tank. He kind of reminds me a little of Maurice Jones-Drew, maybe something like that.
Leon Washington too, a little bit. But this guy, he changed directions on a dime.
Well, so does Elijah Moore. They have 2 really exciting players now. This is very un-Jet-like. And by the way, the Jets also drafted 2 Elijahs in a row, which probably has never happened before, especially since one of them spelled with an A. so they're making all. I don't know. I feel like Joe Douglas at a certain point, I was getting this vibe that he had sleep deprivation, from these 3 days. He was just getting flaky and throwing names out there.
Right.
Maybe he thought, thought he was drafting the same guy again.
Right. It was funny. I got a phone
It's
call.
Groundhog Day.
I got, by the way, Ralph, Lindor's batting 181.
Is he that high? I didn't think he was batting that high, actually. Have the Mets gotten more than 1 run in the last week?
They scored in the first inning today.
They're going down. They're not a good team, except for DeGrom.
But Ray, I got a phone call yesterday from Ralph, which he never calls me, But,
I'm your dentist, so I wanted to see how you were feeling.
That's right. You just want to see how my tooth was. But it was funny because it's like, I guess yesterday at 5 was, Ralph, 2 hours before the draft started, our conversation, you know what it turned to, Ray? We just started talking about who's better, Elijah Moore or Rondale Moore. Remember that, Ralph?
That's right.
we start talking. So I guess we had a premonition. And Ralph, I think you were on the money that we got the correct more.
I think so. I think he's a better player. And the other guy gets injured more, but he's a good player too. But yeah. I think we did well.
I don't know if you remember, Marty, but that was the guy that I called you about that one Saturday that I watched. I think ESPN did a clip on him, and I was like, this guy sounds like somebody, if we can get a hold of him in the mid rounds.
I remember that. No, as Ralph said, these aren't typical Jet players, which is a good sign.
Yeah.
You know, which I love, it's going to be exciting. We'll get back to the draft just quickly. You know, I'm just going to name 5 players. One of those here and gone on June 6th. So just give me a yes or no. You ready? All right, we'll start with Ray. Running back Josh.
Ray is gone.
Running back Josh Adams.
I think he's gone now.
Ralph?
Yeah, I think he's gone.
Okay.
I know you like him, Marty.
Yeah.
I like him too, but he didn't get a lot of playing time.
No,
I
don't think so.
I think you guys like the other guy.
I like Ty Johnson a lot better.
so
I think most Jet fans are more Ty Johnson than Adams.
So
he fits their scheme more.
I was going to say,
quick.
these guys love the speed and the quickness.
He's pretty tough too. He wasn't just a scat back or anything. He ran off tackle.
Right. All right, Ralph, you can start this one. Alex Lewis, the guard.
I hope he's gone. He should be gone. I got to feel like Douglas feels like he's going to get more offensive line help once teams start cutting players. So I think they can upgrade over him.
You know, Ralph, it's interesting because right before we went on the air, I was looking up some of the guards that were available right now. Yeah, 4 guys stood out to me. One was a former Jet, so they'll never go that way. But Nick Easton from the Saints, 29. He had an injury. I don't know what the injury was. J.R. Sweezy from Arizona at 32. Sweezy, yeah. And here's one for you, Ray. James Carpenter, who's 32.
Oh.
But I think he's like those days are gone. But the one intriguing player, he was a 5-time Pro Bowler. He was awful last year, though. Trey Turner for the LA Chargers. He's 28.
I mean, that was a disaster on that offensive line. They got rid of everybody. We already got one of their players. I don't want any more.
Yeah. So
but not sure what we were thinking grabbing that one.
Unless they think like Cameron Clark.
Well, we're all hoping that. Isn't that funny? All the Jet Nation is thinking Cameron Clark is our savior.
I don't know what the deal is. Unless
they put a Doja at a guard. I mean, I seem to remember when he came out of college.
They're in love with somebody there that they didn't think we needed to draft another one.
But Ralph, I think
Trey Hill at center, way late. I would have taken him too on a flyer. Yeah, one of those.
You know, I thought that. Oh, geez, I just lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was going to say.
All right, we'll fill in for you.
We'll fill in for me. This is like, it'll be a tease, Ralph. But okay. Oh, I want to get back to this. Okay, all right. Here or gone, June 6th. Ray, Braxton Berrios.
I think he's gone. I mean, I'd like to keep him, but I think we just with Elijah Moore kind of plays that role, and
Keenan Coles.
If we get rid of
Crowder,
maybe they keep Berrios.
Well, Keenan Coles too can kind of play that role, can't he? Play a slot.
Coles could return
play
right?
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's gone.
I think Berrios is definitely gone. Yeah.
Okay. What about? I'll say Crowder because I was going to leave that for the end.
That's the tough one. Yeah. I mean, Douglas denied that when
they always do that. Look,
I know.
Do you remember, I remember with Parcells when they picked up what's his name, Martin, who's the running back.
Curtis Martin, yeah.
Curtis Martin, and he said, "Well, what about Adrian Mel?" He says, "It's going to work fine. We're going to have 2 running backs. It'll work." Of course, he was gone, right?
Well, yeah, they want the money. They free up that money, then they can get something else. But definitely don't need him.
Right. So Crowder, you think is gone?
I think he's gone.
Ray, what do you think?
I think they're going to try and save the money. Yeah. I think he is, but
Boy, I like that guy. That guy's a good football
I do
player.
too. So I wouldn't be upset if they kept him.
Yeah,
He's a pro. You know,
he's a
getting
pro.
Michael Carter too, because Michael Carter's another guy. You know, you can like play games with him, like in the passing game too. That's 3 guys who are pretty much the same size. And,
yeah, fill that same role. So
yeah.
Okay, what about Greg Van Routen?
Well, if we're definitely got rid of Lewis, it might be tough to get rid of both of them.
I think
yeah.
All right, here's one, Ralph. You'll like this one. How about Bryce Huff?
No, I think they're going to keep Bryce Huff. That's another thing. They didn't take a flyer on an edge rusher. Quincy Roche was out there from like the 6th round, I think, and that's a guy that had some talent. I think Huff stays. I mean, Zuniga's of course the wild card. We don't know what to expect from that guy if he's a player at all, because he never even plays.
I keep hearing good stuff about him.
He's got a good PR agent, I'll tell you.
I don't know what it. No, I keep hearing.
I can't wait to see it.
I want to see. When am I going to see something from this guy? Get on the goddamn field.
Well, you know, it's funny. I remember one of my favorite lines when Parcells was a young coach. He asked Tom Landry, he said, "How long do you give a guy before you know he can't play?" And Landry said, 2 years. If you don't show anything in 2 years, forget it, you know. So, you know, Zuniga's on the clock. What?
I mean, that sounds about right, too.
Yeah.
If after 2 years you haven't shown, at least be showing some kind of improvement.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, Ray, Ralph had convinced me to watch this documentary, The Brady Six. And
Me too.
It's very good. I couldn't get through the whole thing, Ralph, just because
It's brutal.
about Brady. It was just.
You gotta watch it as a historian, not as a fan.
But what I found fascinating was the part where was it Walsh drafted the guy from Hofstra?
Yeah, Giacomazi, yeah.
which is the quarterback. And then I don't know if it was the same documentary because I was doing research, but a few of his teammates said after the first practice, they knew he'd never be a pro. It was just, we're talking about like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But these guys said one practice, they just said he's not going to make it.
Oh, well, do you remember his first game was an exhibition game against the Patriots? And that was Brady's first game. And it was a great line in there. And they said the 49ers thought they had the next Joe Montana. Well, he was on the field that day. He just wasn't wearing a 49er uniform. But, you know, when you hear Steve Mariucci talking about him, he's saying it was just, you know, the minute the lights came on, he was overwhelmed, which happens to a lot of guys when they move into the pros. You know, it gets too fast for them.
Well, Zach Wilson, you know, he has this ADHL or something.
He doesn't have ADHD. You know, I know when he was a kid, you know, he couldn't study and stuff like that. But you know what? When it comes to football and film, he can study. I think for a guy like that, it's probably just boredom. I mean, I was like that too. If you gave me something I didn't want to read, I wouldn't read it, you know?
But I heard it actually, for the stuff he has to process, it helps. And
well, what does he take? Some people are accusing that he's taking Adderall for that. I don't know.
No, I didn't hear that. But look.
Not that it matters, because according to Richard Sherman, half the league takes Adderall.
Listen, and it's funny you brought him up because I actually think there's a chance they're going to make an offer to him.
Well, after all the cornerbacks we drafted, where are we going to put them?
Well, tell me which cornerback.
I hear he just got timed at 4.25 in the.
Tell me our starting quarterbacks this year. That's going to be an upgrade from last year.
All of them.
Who?
Tell me starters, starting cornerbacks.
Starting quarterbacks. I mean,
who do we have last year that was any better than what we drafted? I mean,
I don't know if.
I'm not talking safety either, because we got, you know, I'm wondering if they're getting ready to move on from Marcus May or something.
Marcus May. No, but they want insurance, I think.
I don't think the thing is those safeties are they're going to flip them into linebackers.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, they won't be safeties. Yeah, they're going to be linebackers.
I mean, that one safety runs a 4.75, and that's bad for a linebacker. The guy, Jonathan Marshall, he ran like a 4.7 something, and he's 300 pounds.
Right.
You know, the Patriots years ago, they drafted this guy from Florida, Brandin Stokes. When Florida was a great team, He was their middle linebacker, the captain. Urban Meyer said to Bill Belichick, take him. They get him. He ran like a 4.7 something, and he had every instinct and everything, but he was too slow. He didn't make it. Yeah.
So we drafted safeties that Tom Brady can outrun.
Yeah.
No, not Brady. Marty, did you see Brady running the 40 in the that was unbelievable.
I just can't. I'm like Ray with Brady. I'm getting to be like that. I just can't watch it. It's just
but the thing that's fascinating is just the whole draft process and the way these teams looked at players and how they screwed up totally. And like Brady is still sitting there and nobody's taking him. And it was,
We're going to get back to the Jets draft in a second. I just want each of yours reaction to the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers and what's going on there. If you have reaction, Ray, any reaction to what's going on?
I don't blame him for being upset. I think and he didn't come out and make that comment just without being basically asked about it. It was a response to a question or a response to a comment. He didn't just come out and make this announcement that he doesn't want to play for the Packers anymore. But I just going into the draft, I saw that they had sent all three of the GM, the president of football operations, all three of them went separately to talk to Rodgers to calm him down. And then their first pick is a DB. So how are you really committed to keeping him and keeping him happy?
Ralph, I told Ray they should have drafted with their first pick Kyle Trask. That would have been great, I would love to.
It was almost as good having Tampa do it because Brady hates that stuff. That's something in that show, Marty. I don't know if you got to the point where Brady would say, even after he's won 4 or 5 Super Bowls, he said, I never wanted to come out of a game. I never want to give any guy the idea that he's going to beat me out. And so I'm sure he's not happy with this, even though he's 43 years old. Aaron Rodgers to me has always been a pain in the ass. I've never liked his personality. And, the quarterbacks are now the divas in the NFL more than the wide receivers. And the other thing about Rodgers, he's a great talent, but man, he doesn't win those big games as much as he should. That people don't talk about that, I mean,
and the worst is he's always losing them at home.
Yeah, in that friggin' cold where they should have such an advantage. It's
right, and it's funny as Ray and I spoke about Ray. Everyone realizes that he's going through exactly what he went through with Favre, which is really incredible, Yep.
I'll tell you something. He should be careful what he wishes for because that's a 13-3 team. He can go to another team that's not nearly as good.
Well, the latest rumor was a 1-for-1 trade, him and Russell Wilson.
Yeah, that seems like it would make a little sense.
That would be interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know how it works with the dead cap money and all that stuff.
Russell Wilson goes back to Wisconsin.
Yeah, I didn't understand them trading up to get that kid last year as a quarterback. I really,
I think that's the Packer model, and it seems it's been working. Yeah.
If you think about who they could have had go on last year's team to help them more, I think they screwed that one up.
Right. I thought, not to change this, I thought the Giants. I'm not a Gettleman fan. I actually think he had a pretty good draft.
I'll say this though, Marty. I like Elijah Moore better than Kadarius Toney.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think
I was surprised at that.
That was a reach, but besides that, I thought he did pretty good. But Ralph, as Lenny says, what's the point of stockpiling all these draft picks? He said he might not be there. It's just the next general manager is it's gonna be a great job. But
yeah, that's always the problem with teams, the stability. That's why I like where the Jets are at now. Everyone's sort of at the beginning of their contracts and careers in this situation. You want the general manager, the coach, and the quarterback to sort of be together at the beginning. It's the model that has worked ever since Super Bowl started. Chuck Noll, Terry Bradshaw, Walsh came in with Montana. Jimmy Johnson came in with Aikman. Yeah, I mean, you want sustained success. That's really the model.
All right. you guys have to talk me off the ledge because I tend to overreact, as Ray knows. So, you know, Ray loves to laugh at me about all this stuff. But
Marty's on the ledge from one drive to the next.
Yeah, tell me, why is Marty Shupak, why do I overreact and it keeps me up at night that we don't have a backup quarterback and we don't have a kicker? Am I overreacting to this, Ray?
No, we need a backup quarterback. The guy who's now free to be gotten is Nick Foles. That's the natural pick because, you know, they got Fields. They don't need Foles, and Foles and Joe Douglas have a connection. So I'm really keeping my fingers crossed. I could probably get him for a 6th round pick. I'd say he's the equivalent of what's his name? The guy that went to Denver. Huh?
Oh,
not Flacco. Not Flacco. What's the guy from
Carolina? Bridgewater.
Yeah. I mean, Bridgewater, they got a 6th round pick. I would say Foles is about that worth that. Would you say?
Ray, what do you think?
We can give one of our new safeties.
Yeah.
One of our Michael Carters.
Okay, so Ray, you'd be happy with a guy like Foles as a backup?
Yeah, I don't think I would like somebody actually so if they don't feel Zach's ready quite yet, I would like somebody we could play a little bit here to start.
Well, I certainly think he fits that bill. Yeah,
I think he fits that, especially because Douglas knows him, so he's comfortable with him. I think, you know, he doesn't necessarily fit this offense perfectly, but they've shown through other teams like with Atlanta and even with a bit with San Francisco that they can make it work with different guys until if he's not ready. And I don't like, I'm one of those that likes the quarterback to sit for a little bit and kind of take things in and maybe let the game slow down a little bit for him before he's in there. You know, and I think that was a little of the problem with Sam.
Yeah, I think he's going in day one. That's my feeling. What do you think?
Wilson? I think because my hunch is if they don't get a guy like Foles and they get some stiff like Brian Hoyer, they'd have no choice because he'd be so clearly better.
Right.
You know, from all I read about this guy, and by the way, you know what my favorite line from everyone so far is, you know, you got Sala and Douglas and all that. Actually, from Woody Johnson, when he was talking to Zach Wilson, he said, "I feel like I know you better than my own kids." And that's exactly the way I feel about it too. I have vetted that guy so much.
I know,
but you know, he is a quick study and he knows the system. So I think this transition won't be as difficult for him. He's also confident. So I do expect he will start. That would be my bet. But Foles, yeah.
One thing I wanted to mention, and I forgot to mention as I was going off like the hero gone, and I mentioned the running back, because of the 17-game season, did they establish the roster is going to be the same, 53 men? Is that a fait accompli? Do you know that?
I don't know that. And what about bye weeks? Is there still just one or will there be two?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's one or two,
but I don't know.
I know everything is gearing up, so it's like President's Day weekend for the Super Bowl, right? All right. Any initial grades before we wrap this up on the draft? It's just speculation because we don't know any of these players.
Right. I mean, if I'm going to make a grade, it's not going to be on the specific players. It's going to be on his strategy. And, you know, I got two different grades. Like up till the Michael Carter pick, I'd give him an A-.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing that didn't give me an A+ for is that he did have to give up those 2 third-round picks. That was kind of tough, but I like the player. The second half of the draft, I'd give him like a C-, maybe a D+.
Ray, how about you?
Very similar. I was thinking an A on the first 3-4 picks, but after that, I was in the D range because I just, you know, if he was going to take a flyer on those guys, there were so many others. But you made a good point that I didn't think of was that maybe they do think Cameron Clark will be ready or one of these other guys can handle the other side. So I'm hoping because I don't know any other reason why you would only go after one lineman. But the second half of the draft really disappointed me.
Yeah, well, look, it's not. I'm not really going out on a limb, but I'm sure you guys feel the same way, that there's definitely going to sign another offensive lineman by the time training camp comes.
I would assume so and hope
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
So look, if you look at it that way, then maybe the draft isn't as bad as we thought. Okay.
Well, yeah.
Well,
I mean,
plus,
it's important. The
2 years
top
from now,
half
we
is
might be saying it was a great draft, and all those guys might.
right.
You know,
And anyway, the top half of the draft is the more important part, and you got an A for that. So,
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. I know, Ref, it was driving you crazy when he was trading out, right?
yeah, I mean, at a certain point, it's like just pick some players. What's the difference if you're picking 188th or 193? It's ridiculous,
Right.
The one thing I will say, to people who say, well, Elijah Moore and Michael Carter, I'd like to have had another lineman or something, and that's true. But in the end of the day, football is entertainment. And it's even if the Jets don't, go to the Super Bowl, we're going to have some fun with some of these players.
It's going to be fun. You're absolutely right. It's going to be fun. All right, we're going to wrap it up for.
Before you,
Go ahead, Ray.
thing, I just had a question for you guys. One thing, not counting the Jets, who do you think really killed it in the draft?
I think the Browns did.
I did too.
I think they
I
did.
like the Bears too.
Bears. I think the Browns did.
I can't even comment because I was just so obsessed with the
Chargers.
Jets. I'll have to look at it. Yeah.
The Chargers revamped their entire offensive line.
Chargers, I'm telling you, I wrote, and I don't bet, but
Good for them. That was a smart move. I
if
think
the odds,
Cincinnati should have taken Penei Sewell. by
I
the
was
way.
surprised at that.
Yeah.
if the odds are high, put some $100 down on San Diego. I'm sorry, LA to make the Super Bowl because they got a good team.
But Chicago, I thought, did well, at least early on. I didn't see their last half of their draft, but
That's a good question. Who's going to start the first game for Chicago this year?
I think Fields will be in there. I think they're banking. I think so. I mean, he might not. I think they might see what he does in the preseason. But the one I like, then they got that Tevin or
Tevin Jenkins.
Tevin
Jenkins.
Jenkins.
Jenkins? Yeah, they traded up for him, or
they Jenkins, and they got somebody else. I can't remember. I liked their first 3 picks. I thought were all really good for them.
Who's gonna start for the Patriots? First game.
That's a good
Well,
question.
I think he'll start with Cam and let him get
That's what I think. I think
feet under him.
Will start. Well,
Did you think? Well, I like that I thought we were right on the money about Mac Jones. I was like, there's no way he's going third.
It's so weird. I really think when they traded, I think what happened was, from what I had heard, that they traded up to 3 with the hopes of getting Zach Wilson, and then they found out that the Jets definitely were going to get him. And I think, all right, Mac Jones, and I think they started thinking we're going to look pretty stupid if we take this guy, because I think they talked themselves into the other guy, because the other guy has, there's really very little to go on.
Hey, Ralph, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Have you been paying your electric bill?
No, I haven't. As a matter of fact, I'm pedaling a bicycle now because I'm off the grid.
The Jets Rewind YouTube channel is very popular, and it looks like you're in the dark.
Well, that's better. People don't have to look at me. I think that's the plan.
Okay, just as I don't want to see like a.
Well, you know what happened? I put my shade up and there was a glare, so you either got to take.
I know. I'm gonna hold the cross in front of my head to keep you away. All right, very good, guys. So it should be fun for a little bit. I know there's going to be some downtime till training camp, but as Ralph, we spoke about, there's going to be a
rookie camp.
This year there should be, and there's going to be probably a regular mini camp in June.
What about the OTAs? Now that's voluntary, but I would think these young guys want to go to that. I mean, so.
There'll be some coverage. So
well, Marty, there's also, don't forget, undrafted free agents are going to be coming on at any minute now. They're going to be.
You should be reporting who we picked up as undrafted.
Maybe there's another Michael Carter out there. Maybe there's another safety that we can convert.
There's an Elijah.
I was going to ask you guys before the draft, how would you have felt if the Jets drafted Ian Book in one of the 6th round picks?
No interest in him at all.
That would have been a really wasted.
Yeah, I mean the Morgan pick was
Saints doing it.
Yeah,
he went with the Saints in the 4th.
Huh? Yeah, I thought that was a good move by the Saints.
Yeah, he's their new Drew Brees, about the same size.
All
Probably
right.
shorter.
For Jets Rewind, we're in May 1st right now. And for Ralph Schrager, Ray Clifford, and Marty Shupak, until next time. Did I do this right?